Monday, July 18th, 8 p.m. This is episode 6 of Maelstrom Radio. Monday, July 18th, 8 p.m. This is episode 6 of Maelstrom.
Maelstrom Radio. With your hosts, Flex and Shinter.
Hi, everybody. This is Maelstrom Radio. I am your host, Flatus. And with me is Shin. Hey, Shin, how's it going? Am I not coming through?
Hello, have we lost Flatus?
Did we lose me? No, what happened?
Not sure there. Having some Discord issues tonight.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I do not know what happened. I could see everything moving, and then
Always the way, isn't it? Can't have an episode without some technical glitches.
so we did it. We started it well. We did the thing. Man, I promise. Usually the rule is by episode after episode 10, everything's worked out and smooth running. Um, so honestly, we're pretty much ahead of the game because sometimes outside forces stop us.
I've had just a few of those recently.
Man, I'm telling you. Anyway, how has your gaming week been, Shin?
It's been kind of a busy week. I didn't manage to game a whole lot throughout the week, but caught in some on the weekend, luckily. We ran quite a bit of stuff on this weekend. How about you? I know you were working on different things. Didn't quite get to the Aquapolis, though.
No, we didn't. I feel bad. As you can see, I'm not my normal space. Um, yeah, I'm not in my normal space, and so I'm not sure if you guys can see, but I'm house sitting for my family member. So I currently have my PC here. I prefer my house.
A lot of less technical glitches when you're actually streaming from a place you're familiar with.
I know. Don't know what's going on though. So strange. So, so, um, man, I'm so thrown off now. I was so hyped. I had the show all set up. It was going so well, and then got turned so instantly turned off. Uh, anyway, we have news. I don't know what happened. It fell apart so quick. Yeah, we have news today. Not a lot of news on the front of FFXIV, but we do have some news, and it's worth talking about. Final Fantasy XIV is expanding into more Asian regions. This would be Singapore and Hong Kong. Hong Kong is not a part of the Chinese data center, so they will be joining us on our data center. As a I guess they speak. It's because they can. There's a English speaking population there, so it's fine. It'll work out, I guess. So say hi, make a new friend, I guess maybe. I'm down. I mean, welcome to Famfrit. Welcome to Grudy Gang.
GG.
I've start to make friends all over the world. That's fine. And most likely due to like time differences and everything, we may not see them on our time. So
I can see them hopping onto the Japanese server as well, like, or the ones more geographically closer, or at least the population base.
server wise, yeah, they probably will. I agree. Um, not much there. I think that's interesting. I think it's cool that this game continues to expand forward. As we know, the more areas, the more people play, the bigger the game gets. The bigger the game gets, it soon reigns, and we shall dethrone World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it looks like now we have North America, Europe, Japan, China, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Singapore.
Yep.
And,
And then China
across
has,
all regions.
yeah, and then China has its own data center. Special. I
I wonder
wonder.
if they have less like than we do.
I don't know. I kind of want to know what goes on there. I want to see how truly different it is. Because in like other MMOs, they censor a lot. Like there's no skulls, or like they try to not show like anything that's dead exactly, or demon, which is not super a lot, but considering a certain piece of content's coming out, I wonder how that's gonna work. More on that later. We also have another piece of news which I do want to talk about. So recently, America just did its summer event for Final Fantasy XIV, which ours was through Amazon. And if you took part in it, you got a white fat chocobo, you got a Lord of Crag's mask, an Ifrit mask, the butler maid outfits, prismatic wings for us. And is there anything else? Am I missing anything else out of our loot bag?
Can't think of off the top of my head
I think
now.
think that was it. I think Japan got to go to 7-Eleven and drink tasty refreshments and acquire the same items. And I think also they got MGP, which I'm kind of jelly because I would have bought refreshments for MGP. Um, and poor EU. First of all, we guest hosted on another podcast called Movie Go Around Radio. I'm sure you've heard of it. They've been around a little bit longer than we have. They were nice enough to ask us on, and we got to hang out with them and the lovely Luna Vox from Phoenix Down Radio. And we talked a little bit about this with them and got their take on it, and it sucks. It is like for us, it was cool because like I got Ocarina of Time for my 3DS, or you can get a time card for Final Fantasy 14. It was you could have just gotten something useful, and it was cool, or you could have gotten a tasty refreshment in Japan. But in this situation for the EU, if you've not seen it yet, is that you have to buy 3 magazines, and I know what you're thinking. It's like, oh, no big deal. It's just magazines, but it's 3 magazines and according to Chili and Paul, um, that it's not a great magazine. It's like poorly written. It's not a super great gaming magazine. So you have to buy all 3 copies. So that's 3 months of waiting to get all the items. And at the end of it, once you acquire all 3 magazines, you have to take a selfie, which they have discussed that that is not entirely true. Like you have to somehow take a picture of 3 magazines and they'll send it to you, but you have to email them the picture. And some people are like, I don't want to take a selfie of myself holding 3 magazines and send it to somebody. And somebody was like, what about my kid?
Yeah, it doesn't seem that great.
Yeah, send me photos and you get a white fat thing you can ride. That's fine.
That was better than earlier.
Yeah, was it?
Well,
Experimental comedy mode. 10 minutes in. Listen, we took the show from it's crashing and burning into oh dear God, he just said that.
I don't think this is a record though. Like we are 10 minutes in. Might be a record for the longest time we've gone, but
It's true. And by the way, Paul and Chili, if we if we ruined your show, because I'm pretty sure I said some things. When that goes live, and I don't think it has gone live yet. Go download that episode of Move Around. It was a blast. They did a long form. They do a little bit longer form show than we do. So if you do like an hour and a half, hour, 2 hour show, they did the thing. They did it. As of right now, no, it is not up. So I would assume usually by the end of the week they'll have that up for you guys. So I feel for the EU. I'm sorry, guys, and I'm sure I know some of the EU peoples and friends have gotten theirs through the American, and it's probably like honestly probably the better way of doing it. Yeah, maybe this was due to Brexit. I don't know. Something happened. We can blame it on Brexit if you want. Blame it
what
on
about the
something.
rest?
Well, they do. Let's see. They get everything we get. They also get the MGP, which we didn't get, and they get fireworks, which we didn't get. Oh, and Aetheryte tickets, which
I think Japan got those as well, didn't they?
yeah, they did. We kind of did get a little snuffed though. I mean, we got the easiest thing because we only had to make one payment of $20 or more.
Yeah, you guys did. That didn't work as well if you're not from the US here.
No, you had to pay a premium.
But I got my white fat thing that I get to ride.
Can't. I mean, for $20, it may be a cheap deal. I don't know. So
yeah.
God, what happened? Started talking Murica. Yeah, Dogatron chat. Murica. He said it. Murica. He gets it. So, I really do feel for this guy. I feel so bad for him. All right. Listen, we're on the eve of probably one of the most anticipated patches or 0.5 patches in the history of this game. I've never, even on when we went on Moogle around, like people were like, well, except Paul. Paul was not so interested, but I know we are. I know so. Oh, and they're of course are adding some emotes in 3.35.
It's true. Yep.
So if you are a RP person, you're getting some new emotes. So you know if you're not by the way, if you're into RP and you are on Hyperion, Lunavox has a role-playing guild, FC, on that server. So go look her up and get going there. As for us, we're going to talk Deep Dungeon and how excited we are for that because, hot damn, I need to break up the monotony, and there's a little bit of monotony of like, all right, I mean, I love running trials, I love running dungeons with friends, I love getting on Discord and shooting the shit with everybody in the FC. But I think Deep Dungeon is one of those things that it's like, all right, like, think we could die, we could all wipe. We've done this in Aquapolis where we've died recently.
We do that in Dungeons and Trials still too. Like,
yeah,
when you jump in and you pull everything in the entire zone when no one's ready.
But I can't turn into a succubus in the dungeon. I can turn a succubus into the deep dungeon, but not the regular dungeons. Not yet, anyway. You never know. They may throw that in.
See how the deep dungeons do first.
So, I think I'm going to start off with this. Is there any time in any MMO you've played where you've experienced a randomly generated dungeon that had changing floors, changing bosses, changing mobs, and random status effects on the floor?
Do dreams count, or is these actually published MMOs? Because no in either in this case.
No, right? Me either. I haven't had I haven't had a game. I mean, there's been, like we have Binding of Isaac and like normal like indie games or roguelites that do that randomly generated dungeon. Um, but this is an MMO, and this is a bit different. Um, you can
Oh,
group up.
we had some couple different MMOs mention it, or the idea of dynamic content, or procedurally generated dungeons and stuff like that, like EverQuest Next and Landmark. Both had promises along there, and I guess we kind of got it a little bit with Landmark and the procedurally generated terrain, the caverns way back when. But nothing kind of to this level of let's put in different content and status effects and actually adventure through it and have a set end goal and all those sorts of things. Unless you count way back into like the mud days with the multi-user dungeons there. And
Let's talk about
go
muds.
north.
Go north. Go north. Go west. You find a sword. Pick up sword. The sword is cursed. Damn it.
It is dark.
It is dark. It is dark. Light torch. You light. Torch does not light. It is dampened. Like, aw. This is the shittiest dungeon.
And
So-
yet they were always interesting because at least some of them you could just go and you could play for hours because you had no idea what was coming next.
Also, real quick, Donkeytron said in chat two things. Yeah, WoW's pre-expand X-Pack patches tomorrow. Not shocking. It's what companies do. It is how they do. I never like anytime Warcraft's putting out a big thing, Final Fantasy drops the patch. Anytime they're dropping a pre-expansion thing, we're dropping the deep dungeon. Honestly,
Revenge of the Horde.
yeah, we're prepared. And also, Donkeytron said I have a massive deep dungeon boner. So that's how Blizzard do. Blizzard doesn't like to be outshined. I must retain all the people so I can collect their money. It's like it's like a big money beast with like 50 like creatures growing out of its back, and it's like that's how I see.
Hopefully we don't encounter one of those.
That's how I see Blizzard now. It's just some weird money beast.
As soon as you said that, it reminded me of that kind of blobby creature with all the eyes all over it. You see it in some hunts. I think we saw it in the Aquapolis a couple times.
Oh yeah. Goopy eye. I like him.
It's kind of creepy.
You keep typing things in chat. I keep in the he types funny things in our notes. So yeah, 3.35 is coming out. I'm excited for the deep dungeon. Shin's excited. Most of the FC is they don't. The people that are new to Final Fantasy in our FC have no idea what the hell is going on, and I can't wait to show them Deep Dungeon because they'll be like, this is some damn fun content because you never know what the fuck you're gonna get, which I like, kind of like our show. You never know what you're gonna tune in on Monday and be like, what the fuck am I watching? Well,
What decisions in my life have led me to this?
yeah, and you'll stick around and you'll come back next week and be like, you know what? This is. I mean, honestly, if you had the choice between us and Math, I'd probably choose us. Can we put that on like our first like here's our first thing of shows, like the 1 year anniversary? Like that's the name of the 1 year anniversary episode. Like you chose
There we go.
at least you didn't choose Meth, and that's the name. That'll never clear Twitch. Dear Twitch, please do not kick us off. I swear we were talking about video games. I promise you we are. And not Meth.
I have nothing to say to this.
Yeah, they'll ban me, don't worry. So what do you expect to see? I know we expect to see Ida, supposedly. But we don't know what's dropping because they didn't really give us any patch notes, unless the patch notes drop when the patch goes live. But I haven't, when I checked back even to the 3.3 notes, I still didn't see a lot on the deep dungeon. So we know we get the lighty weapon, and we know that you travel through it and you fight.
Well, we got a little bit of the lore in the preview that they released earlier.
Ooh,
Back in the beginning of June, they had a little bit of a preview of the Deep Dungeon.
Deep Dungeon previews.
It was the Deep Dungeon preview, yeah. Palace of the Dead preview, at least.
That's right. It is called Palace of the.
So the little blurb that they had here is in the subterranean city of Gilmora, deep within a forgotten corner of Isomhar. You can yell at me if I'm butchering these Final Fantasy places because I have no idea. Stout-hearted explorers have uncovered the entrance to a labyrinthine dungeon. Those who set foot inside its maddening halls find their vigor drained by an irresistible fog of innervation, and repeated excursions have failed to map its seemingly inconstant architecture. After hearing chilling accounts of spectral denizens, locals took to whispering of a palace of the dead, and the Wood Whalers now seek the assistance of adventurers in laying bare its haunted secrets. I need to learn to speak better now.
I know where this is. Like, I know where the entrance to the place is. Like, it's in our game now. It's been in our game since A Realm Reborn. Remember outside of, I believe it's Hawthorne Hut, and there's that guy that they're facing like the cavern down, and there's that broken like rope ladder, and they're like, I don't want to go down there. Like everybody, they were like everybody ran out, and the guys that were left said they saw the dead down there. That is the Palace of the Dead, and of course
It makes sense.
it fits in because that's where the dungeon for Eda is. So I want to go there, fight monster. Okay, so some things we do know about. We can turn into a succubus, or was it a manticore? Maybe.
Yep, I think Manticore was the other one.
Fantastic. We don't know if there's going to be any more. I do believe Yoshi said at E3 that there wasn't. I believe that the only two were the succubus and manticore, but he could have been lying.
I think it was for the original.
So we
Like
get. Go ahead.
So just for the original, the first launch, because it was difficult to try to balance all the different abilities of these creatures and see how it was kind of received. They were just going to start off with the first two monsters, I guess, and then go from there and see if it's popular. Maybe they'll add a few more in. Maybe they'll add some more as they expand the dungeon. Just gives them a little bit more flexibility to kind of introduce stuff slowly as well.
I'm down. We get the introduction to our light weapons. Also, the map change. Everything changes. Like even the UI changes when you go around. Other than like I think your casting bar, your map changes. Think Legend of Zelda like maps, like like Legend of Zelda, where it's like you even if for a current example, if you never played Legend of Zelda, if that's too old of a game for you to play, think of Binding of Isaac, where you see the map, and it's like, all right, here's a square room, and then here's a square room, and you see where you are in the items and stuff. We get sweet sprites in the UI. Oh yeah, we do. We get little sprites of our classes, which I'm so stoked for.
I linked an image since we don't have it up on stream right now. I put one in chat for those who are here. It has the nice little mini map in the corner and the character info with the nice little sprite. There's an example with a dragoon there. And if you kind of want to see what the different ones for different classes, Square just released a new fan kit that contains little avatars that are each of these little classes. It's kind of cool to see each of them. The summoner has a nice little Garuda pet sitting on their shoulder or their head, depending on what you see there.
I'm down. I want this in my life. Every day.
Well, we have less than 24 hours to wait now, and then it will be here.
I know. Servers.
And then you won't hear from us again for a full week as we delve into the deep dungeon.
It's true. It's gonna happen. I gotta ask you though. We get 2 saves. We know there's gonna be a party group of us. The max group for this is what, 4?
I think so, yep.
And then solo play is solo, which is gonna be the hardest version of this. How far do you think I'm gonna get as a Dark Knight? I don't think very far.
That's tricky because you do have the survivability as the Dark Knight, but at the same time, I don't know. It's kind of interesting,
Nice.
especially coming from the first level because Dark Knights in general start from 30, right?
Yeah.
You've never really had to do solo adventures from one.
I'd probably swing like a potato. Not like a Lalafell potato, like a regular potato. Although,
But see, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe if like I was like a Lalafell and I was like, eh.
Yeah, and as Donkatron kind of pointed out in chat there's no real reason for you to stick with your Dark Knight, though. Like, it's a perfect time to go out and try other classes and see what else is out there.
Do I have to be 17? The thing is, the barrier for entry was 17. Is that 17 on any class that I can enter with one of the other classes, or is that 17 in general?
So I think it just says you have to be 17 to unlock the quest. So once the quest is unlocked, I don't see any barrier past that.
I might roll.
If you have to be 17 on all the classes to get in there, that might be a little bit more
I might
But
roll.
that seems like a weird restriction.
It does seem like a roll restriction, but I might roll in there with a monk. I might roll in there pugilist and
I'm gonna go punch things.
yeah, I roll in there and go fist of fury and then deep dungeon. I'm gonna fist the. I said it. It's out there. Too late. Welcome to the internet. Enjoy.
I'm
Don't
pretty sure that needs to be like the slogan for this whole podcast. It's out there.
It's out there. It's out there. Just
So one of the things I'm really looking forward to is getting a group of people and going right into the deep dungeon and finding some chests. I really want to find treasure and see what's in there and just kind of explore.
still think there's gonna be mimics.
There are. They have said that some. Well, I don't know about mimics, but they've said that chests will explode, and there's nothing better than going through a dungeon and watching your friend open up a chest only for it to explode in their face and they die.
Yeah. And I agree with Donk. Like, I want to run this with everyone in the FC. Two groups kind of stinks. It does kind of stink. I kind of want. I wish they would expanded this to a. And this to be fair, this is kind of like we're testing this out. We
Yeah.
don't know how this is gonna go. Um, like we said earlier, like we've never played an MMO that allowed for RNG randomly generated dungeons. So I guess maybe this is the groundworks for an expansion where it's like, listen, we took the deep dungeon, 4 players was the max. Now we have like a deep dungeon's like that's 8 players or 12 or like that'd be cool if you could do a 24-man like crazy like randomly generated like raid.
I'd be interested to see like where else could you go with this? Like if you took even multiple groups of 4 and had each group having to do different different parts of things, so that like one group might have to complete the puzzle in this room in order for the next group to progress and just kind of piggyback back and forth.
Don't tell me that. That sounds too much fun. I want puzzles. Can we get puzzles in this thing? Can we get like myth things?
Like our free company house.
Yeah, that's our not a cult. Our free company house is called Puzzles. You have to figure out why. Although I'm pretty sure they don't know. I don't think anybody in the damn free company knows why either. It's fine. Well, I do want to talk about. We know that 200 floors is going to be the max, and we know that if you really want to challenge, you really want to show off, it's doing it solo. Now, should we announce that now? Maybe we can announce it now, right? I feel like we can announce it now, or should I wait? I can wait.
I don't know. Do they want to wait?
I could wait. I mean, I'm good either way. It doesn't affect me.
Might as well go because
All right.
why not?
Why not? All right. So, anyone, and we'll tweet this out as well, and anybody on YouTube watching this later will get to hear it. So, we are going to have a contest involving the Deep Dungeon. What this contest entails is that the first person to reach the last floor of the dungeon, or the furthest you can possibly get by 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so I'm giving you till West Coast midnight. You have to tweet. Well, email. I'm gonna say email us at info at. I got it. So it's info at maelstromradio.com. Email us at info.maelstromradio.com. The screenshot of the floor you're on. We'll see the time in the corner. But the first person to show us that they got to the end or the furthest they got by that time. So if it's coming to the deadline and you don't think you're going to make it to the end, you may be the person who wins if you're the furthest person ahead. So take the screenshot anyway, and you will get your choice of minion off the Mog Station. Not a bad contest, if I don't say so myself.
Not at all. You get to do the deep dungeon as far as you can, and possibly win some stuff.
Yeah, I listen. I can't do it. I mean, I will, but I'm gonna take part of it anyway. Because if I beat you, then I'm just gonna be funny. You may still want a minion. I'm gonna laugh at. We'll laugh at. No, I won't laugh at you. A little. I will laugh at you a little. I will make fun of you. I will poke funny, and then you'll come and beat me up because I'm frail and tiny.
So yeah, Flas and I, and it sounds like a bunch of our FC are going to be doing the deep dungeon the next week as well. So we'll try to keep posting our progress and see how far each of us can get solo, and possibly in our groups.
Yep.
And we'll on the next stream, hopefully, or sometime shortly after, we'll announce the winners for that competition.
Yeah. So first person to get it, you get a minion, and I don't even. I'm gonna go look at the cool minions on the Mog Station. I type Smog Station in, and that takes you to a totally different place.
Oh, it looks like it's under maintenance at the moment.
Is it? It's down.
It's down.
Jerk.
It was up earlier.
I know there's a Nanamo. So if there's a Nanamo minion in there, there is a
there's a panda.
There's a panda. There's a blue jay, right? There's something. There's a bird.
Yeah, there's a bird.
There's a bunch. There's a bunch of sweet. I want one of the damn things. I do want it. So it's it's easy. You play the game. Like, how hard is that? We're not asking you to do any art or use your although we appreciate if you want to send us fan art, by all means. So no, but in all seriousness, as contests go, I think this is pretty fair. It's pretty easy. You play the content you're playing anyway. The worst thing you have to do is just hit a screenshot and send us an email. That's really all you gotta do. So it's pretty easy. Holy shit, Donkatron and chat. Holy shit, my boo. Yeah, bro, you you got it, man. You can get in there. All you do is got to do solo the deep dungeon. Try to get as far as you can. It could be you. You could be running around with the Nanamo. She sits on your shoulder if you beckon her, bro. I'm waiting for.
Hey, don't get him too excited here.
He'd run around, dude. He'd quest with her on his shoulder all day. He'd be like, "Look at this." Wouldn't even care. So I think, may the best person win. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's
Robon's gonna have a word with you after this.
You didn't. Donk will fucking backstab him with the swiftness. He'll be like, he'll take the other arm. He'll be like, get out of here.
I don't know. He's channeling that Ifrit.
Right. So we while we were on the lovely and fantastic Moogle Radio, I had a thought. I asked a question, and that question being, what if you had the chance to ask a question? Because we are going to be able to ask questions at FanFest. It's one of the things when you do a gaming convention. They set up a mic or two. People get in line, and you wait patiently. You may get a chance to go walk up to the mic and ask a question of the devs. And my question to the host of Moogle and Luna, if you had one chance to ask a question, what would you ask for? I'll go let you listen to that show so you can hear what they responded with. But it also spurred because we're at 2 months away from FanFest, and I constantly think about things that I do want to step up to the plate and ask questions, and sometimes you only get one. You try to sneak in two, but I don't want to be that asshole. Where it's like, I've got two questions, but they're both kind of related to each other. Um, so I have some thoughts, and I would like to see if my co-host thinks I'm crazy. So the answer is going to be yes, but I still want to get his opinion on some of this. So, because it's, as much as in some background on this, if you didn't know, Shin's my right hand man, and he puts up with my most of my bullshit, most of it. So so as an FC person, and I've said before when we started the show that I did come from a heavy WoW background, and one of the things in Warcraft I think, and as much as I do not I'm not in love with that game anymore, I will give Warcraft merit where credit's due. One of the things it did really well was incentivize FCs and being in an FC or in that case guild. And I know a lot of people are like, well, we have the ranks and we have the airships, and those are incentives alone to get people to join. Um, but some people I think join just to bolster numbers. Like, hey, we have the most people, so you're always going to find someone to run with. Um, and I think you said it best the other day. We may not have the numbers, but we have quality people. And
Except that leader guy.
yeah, something like that. Which, which I like because that says that one, we're recruiting well, and two, I think the people we have, knowing their backgrounds and rating and everything like that, I would like to see certain achievements in the dungeons, certain achievements in the hard modes of dungeons, like hey, if you beat this boss under a certain time limit or beat the dungeon under a certain time limit, I know there's speed like for example, we know there's people that speed run these dungeons, right? They go in and they try to get it done as quickly as possible. Let's say if they give out achievement for beating it under a certain time limit, you do that with three hard dungeons, and you get an achievement like fastest time, or the lapper or something. Get a title. It'd be cool, man. I'm down. It has to be like and incentivize doing it with your FC. Like it's a group. Like, hey, do it with your FC. Your FC, like there's an FC achievement, because I love that's one thing I liked. Guilds had their own achievements, and you can actually anybody in guild can see like, man, look what we're doing. Like we're fucking kind of kicking ass, and I like that. That's like, and it's not something I need to show off to other people. It's more of like, I'm proud of you guys, and look at all the fake internet points that we've acquired as a group. But I like that.
Yeah, EverQuest 2 did the same sort of thing. Like that's one thing that I really, really liked from that game and wished Final Fantasy did a lot better, was just guild management, free company management. There's a lot of tools that they have around that, but the guild, uh, the achievements and the different things that you can get, like I know that there's different items you can craft after defeating bosses in Final Fantasy. Seeing more of those is kind of impressive as well. Just kind of like, hey, you guys did that and you accomplished that as a group, especially if I know it kind of, I don't know how hard this would be. It probably is more difficult, but link the item itself to the free company so that it can only be placed by that free company within like a free company house or something.
That'd be kind of dope.
So you can see like, hey, yeah, we did this. It was our group that managed to push through this content, or we accomplished this feat, or we did this achievement or something out there.
Yeah, like
Custom titles.
like a special housing item only if you did it as an FC group that you place in your front lawn, so people have to walk
Exactly.
by. Like look at this big digital dick dick statue that we got and put out on our front lawn. I like that.
Is it white?
Yes. Looks like a chocobo. Um yeah, dude, I'm down. Like I would love that. Like I don't even care if it's a housing item. Like it's a big old trophy. Yeah, lawn gnomes for FC house.
Yeah, exactly. Like EverQuest 2 did trophy heads, so you could see every time you killed a raid boss, you got this head that you could craft, and you'd put it up and show up like we had a room of heads. Kind of creepy when you think about it, but
well, when you save a room ahead, people start to think like, what are you guys doing in there? Puzzles? What? Not a cult? What the hell? I think it was. It can't be any worse than our neighbor across the street. He has a damn. I mean, he fit everything you could possibly fit on a small lot of land. You can't even get through his front
Yeah.
door.
But we have to jump over the edge.
Yeah, you have to jump over the edge, and then you'll land in a fountain. He's got 4 fountains in his front lawn, and then he's got like a chocobo stables in the way back, and it's being blocked by everything else. Like, if I want Eorzea to have a what's it called? My dad does this for a living, and I sucks that I can't remember the name of it. Code enforcement officer that rolls around, be like writes fines and tells them like, listen, you gotta get this shit out of here. You're lowering property values. So yeah, like I think so that's one thing I'd like to see is better FC management. I know that they're gonna increase the ranks and everything like that, and that's fun. I get that. That's awesome. But I want to see more fun stuff for FCs to do. Like I know a lot of people are like, we want group content, we want it to be harder, and I'm like, that's you know, I want to be able to fucking like be like, hey, listen, like look what me and my FC did. We fucking did this thing. Like we ran this shit and we got this badass mount. You can only get as an FC for running it like this and like fuck, I want that. Or glamours, fucking yeah, let's throw some armor at us and be like, look at this, and like you can only do it. And you're like, fuck, now I gotta join a guild. Yeah, you gotta join an FC. Get in there, meet some people, make a friend.
It was always awesome coming back or logging into EQ2 and completing something, and suddenly you get all the spam and or the guild history. It's like so and so completed this epic clash with some other thing and got this achievement, or
Yeah.
just it made you feel accomplished afterwards.
It did. There was something that I really enjoyed about EQ2 when you did something, or like when I unlocked the ability to speak dragon, and I was like, dude, that was an epic. Like that took like I sat down for 6 hours that day and unlocked dragon speak. I was like, this is the most epic.
And it was long.
It is a long fucking quest line. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever learned. Because it was like you put in work and you got something for it, and it was something that you could show off and be like, yeah, bro, I learned how to speak dragon today. What the fuck did you do? Nothing. Jerk.
I remember when they first introduced mythical weapons, and every class is your class weapon, essentially your class epic weapon. And you'd go through everything, and you'd finally unlock this awesome weapon that you could get. And you would take this weapon, and then you could go and complete a series of raids afterwards. And you'd have to go through all 3 tiers of raiding and finally get to like the high end tier of raiding at that point. And if you killed the boss at that point, and you'd get the final item for this weapon, you'd go turn in the quest, and it would send a message to the entire server saying, congratulations, so-and-so, on getting this weapon. Like, not only you and your whole group, it was the entire server that got notified that you just acquired this weapon.
It made you feel like a badass, didn't it?
It made you feel awesome, especially if you actually accomplished it on your own. Like, you didn't go out and pay for it like some of us might have. But damn it, we cleared it a few weeks afterwards, so that's a different story.
Oh shit. So I mean, so all right, well, I'll run with that too. I mean, do you think that our weapon system, the anima weapon system, do you think it is the amount of work? Do you think the effort is there? Like the weapons look cool. The glowing weapon looks cool. Um, I mean, of course, the weapon is strong, but we do have different avenues and different weapons we can get with those numbers. Like we could just say fuck it and just go run Nidhogg stream and get that weapon, and we'll be right in the mix. Do you think that our weapon should be something that starts at the very beginning of the expansion, like something we work towards throughout the expansion? We get it; it can become stronger. It's just, I mean, do you want it to be the strongest weapon in game? Because I know a lot. Like Square's biggest thing is that no, the raiding weapon will always be the strongest. Or do you think it should be an equivalent to that weapon?
I think it's kind of weird. Like, I like the idea that that where they're going with this, where you have this weapon and you kind of evolve it and change it and it grows with you as they keep releasing content for it. But at the other side of it too, it's like in order to get this weapon, I have to start it 3 months ago, because if you start it late into the game, like I think I started my animal weapon on the when the last quest was, so I was like a good 6 months behind on my first version, and I'm already a few months behind on my second one now, and it's just there's so much to catch up to that it makes it almost infeasible, or it's a very very long boring grind for a lot of people that they have to do this.
It's true. I mean, granted, I mean, I could probably buy a few more bone. I could probably be like halfway there. Um, if I go and spend all my like my Beast Tribe coins and tokens and fun stuff and use my esoterics that I got to buy everything else, I would probably be about half the items I need, and then I would just have to go get the other half, and I'd be there. I'd be in the mix, but
And I think that it's good to have these sorts of weapons, and I like the challenge of like the time investment that it takes. I think is very reasonable. The downside is I really don't like how they've implemented it with a grind for this game.
yeah, I mean they do ease it eventually. Like they do move it and be like, oh, here's a little bit easier. Go ahead and catch up to everyone else. Do you think we'll see an ease on the what's needed, like the unidentified items? Because really, I mean, we have the crafters. It's not like we don't have someone to help us with the crafting at the end of the day, as we're leveling crafting ourselves. Um, so really, it's the unidentified items right now, because we'd have to grind out the esoterics and the beast tribes for those. And I'm pretty sure if we can go online, and there's going to be somebody in chat or somebody out there that's probably broken it down the fastest absolute way we can do this within so many days.
Yeah, and there's definitely people that have already done like what's the fastest way that I can get all of this done, but it still comes down to in order for me to complete this weapon, which as far as I know is really the best in slot weapon, uh, and it kind of alternates back and forth through different patches, but the end result of this is that we have a best in slot or near best in slot weapon that really you just obtained because you grinded over and over and over again. Like there was nothing awesome, amazing, epic that you had to actually accomplish for this. You just had to sit there and grind through it.
Well, I mean, we do know that the light weapon will be an equivalent, maybe just slightly under what is the max right now for the anima. But we have to level that up, and we know that it's not going to be within this first patch of the deep dungeon. Um, do you see that as an alternative route to a different weapon that could be a catch up? I mean, we know, like I said, we know that Nidhogg's weapon is an upgrade regardless right now. So, I mean, I, I don't mind grinds. I don't mind it if it's done well and it's not a pain in the ass. But I also enjoy, like you said, that big fanfare. Like I feel like it should be something that you work towards, but you should feel like a badass at the end of it.
I want to feel accomplished.
Yeah,
I can say yes, I made this or I did this.
yeah, and it should be that way. Um, and I mean, and like, I mean, it should be a big thing. It really should be a big time thing. So I think, as much as they do great that there's this weapon that you can do. It's this like relic and it's got a story behind it. Like I think they're doing like cool changes. Like it's got a voice and it's got a heart this time. So I'm interested to see where that goes. Um, but I think going forward, I would like to see something that's a little more in depth, a little more that is heart, like makes you feel more about like I care about what my character's doing. I care about this weapon. Like I think it's gonna be a badass thing. I'm gonna feel accomplished by the end of it. Like like give us bite. That's what I want. Like you gotta give us like, not to say that this isn't, but like grinding out the unidentified idle items doesn't make me feel like I'm doing anything worthwhile. When I can be like, I'm just gonna run Nidhogg stream.
Yeah, like they do really really great with the storyline. Like there's the whole background to this weapon, and this weapon has a voice and you can choose the gender and all these different things about this weapon, and you're like, all this into the backstory for it, and then here, sit for a few months and go and grind quests or dungeons or something to get all these little items, and then we get to continue the story. It's gating it, but almost in the worst possible way of
Yeah.
sit here and grind things forever and ever and ever.
I would like to see them maybe. I mean, I get it because they don't want to get put it in behind raids because nobody's gonna like. What do you have to let people be able to get it and they can't run raids, and you're gonna have that one person that's on the forum be like, I have to run a raid to get this done, and I don't think it's fair because I don't have time to run raids.
And I kind of like that idea from EQ2 in that they had a regular version that anyone could get, and then they had a raid version that was really only for the people that needed that top tier raid stuff. And I know there'll be players that complain like, "Oh, I don't have the stuff that raiders have," but that's already the case. There's lots of gear that raiders only have access to.
It's true.
So it would be kind of neat to see that where you have, and it's harder to do with the animal weapon quest line because the weapon evolves throughout everything. But if there was a way to kind of have this awesome weapon and then upgrade it to a raid ready tier almost.
Yeah, I mean, some people say the end game of this game is glamour.
It's
um,
true.
and
Make the raid one glow.
right. And if you're gonna do that, even WoW is guilty of this now. Is that shit? Like I'm just gonna copy and paste the gear. Like each tier gets just a copy and paste and a color swap, and maybe the top tier, like the mythic rating, gets a little bit of a glow, or their shoulders are different. Like look, the shoulders have a thing that pop out. Go ooh. Like oh okay cool. Um, no man, make like I said, the FC, the even if you put it on a solo challenge, like make it so that if you queue with a static, you have a static group, and you run something and you do it under a certain specific set of guidelines, or you push Savage and you're within the first 100 groups to clear it, you get something special or a special item. Be like fuck, like given something to be like, man, I really fucking want this. I want us to do this and get it done, and then make it so that the challenge is great. Make it so that, and I know there's gonna be like a lot of people say normal mode is story mode, and and I didn't feel great about when WoW had an LFR like looking for raid, which was essentially story mode, but it was also a way it was used not for story, oddly enough. It was used to as an extra tier to gear people up for a normal raid, and that was pointless because it was just a clusterfuck. So I don't know. I
As
don't.
lots of raids are.
Yeah. So I don't want. I mean, I know they said they kind of like where normals and everything are, but if you do make the content random RNG, then it's gonna no matter what group, right, normal or savage, it's gonna be tough. So tune your shit. I mean, but like don't complain. Like that's gonna be the first thing I say. Don't complain. Be patient and push yourself. Like I guess in the last 7 minutes we'll do our newest bit named by Dongatron, who is in chat. Just the tip with Flatus. Um, my tip, I guess, this week is, and it's something that Paul brought up on his show, and I'll use it for two things. Um, one was they were talking about the community of XIV about being toxic. Now, I have not experienced this in general. Uh, I've met more good people in this community, like generally nice people willing to help. They're patient, than I have met assholes. Lately, though, it seems even our new FC people I've met a lot of jerks, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's an influx of people from another MMO, um, and I'll I'll say its name, Warcraft, um, and I don't know if it's and it's not. And if you're a WoW player and listening to this, don't get me wrong. I played WoW for years. Like I know there's great people that play World of Warcraft just like any MMO. But I understand there's an anonymity thing in on the internet where people it's like anonymity see anonymity um like you're like I get it, like I am invincible behind this keyboard, you can't get me. um but don't be a dick. Like this game has a reputation for being a great community, very helpful community, very like I'm excited, like legitimately excited to go to FanFest because I'm meeting tons of people that are nice and awesome people to talk to, and no, WoW is just really full of assholes now, and nobody talks. Well, there you go. So like, don't be that person. And if you are that person, take a step back, reevaluate, and just go in blind to this game and see how the community treats one another. Because I'll tell you this: this community won't stand for it. Like they really won't. You'll get pushed away real quick. You could be if you're a dick, people won't invite you. You won't get joined to FCs. They'll kick you out. And it's just the way this thing goes, man. Like I said, we surround ourselves with quality people, and I see that. Like we love running Aquapolis. Like I don't think anybody in the guild, nobody in the FC's ever got into a fight with each other. We talk shit to each other, and that's fine. We make fun of each other, that's fine. Um, like we when we go into when we fuck I can't words say them when we run randoms, we always say hi. People say hi back. I don't think I'll forget. I usually forget to turn on one of my buffs. So somebody in chat's like, "Hey, Dark Knight, do this." I was like, "Oh shit, yeah." Like no one's an asshole about it. And if you're that person, don't be that person. So my tip is not a game tip. It's more of a be a nice
flow trip.
yeah, just be a nice fucking person. Just be a nice person and be patient if you're running Nidhogg, and I know that's been a few weeks and um most people cannot in Nidhogg, if you're running Nidhogg, I know a lot of groups are still having issues and stuff. Just be patient. I know a lot of people are gonna get frustrated still, but let them know. Hey, let them know. Like, hey, here's a tip. Here's a couple tips, and this is how we're gonna do it. Like, I mean, I can tell you how to do that fight. If you're an off tank, stay by the tail, so the healers group up behind the tail. The healers will have an easier time healing the group. That's gonna be my first tip for you. Let the tank face it away. Stay behind the tail. When you got the three mobs up, the one in the middle not gonna be fucking aggro. He's just gonna run around and stomp on people. You have a black mage, you have a limit break up, try to get them to stack. If you guys can get three of those damn things to stack up on each other, you might have an easier time killing this fucking thing. So, and then you'll run into Nidhogg, you'll rinse and repeat, you'll have to stack up on each other, but you'll know when. You'll see arrows pointing in. Be easy time. Just be patient. This is a good community. And one more time, we have a deep dungeon contest. It's pretty simple. All you do is play Deep Dungeon, and this is solo, so you get one slot. So you get two slots, but this is gonna be one you're gonna take up for at least for us for now. If you're planning on running it solo, this is the easiest contest to enter. All you do is play the game, and you have until 11:59 p.m. 11:59 p.m. West Coast, the Pacific Standard Time. You have until midnight that time to send us a screenshot to info@maelstromradio.com. That is our email address. That is info@maelstromradio.com. Send us a screenshot on the floor. If you get to the last floor, just take a screenshot. If it's coming up on the end, and we will tweet out, trust me, we will tweet out when things are ending and all that. Just take a screenshot. That's all you got to do. As far as you get, just take a screenshot. You may win. If you only got the floor 15 and no one's been able else to get to floor 15, you win. And the first person that gets the furthest, we will announce on that Monday. So you have now until Sunday night to get it done. It seems pretty fair. That's enough time, I think, to try to get as far as you can.
So I was say, just for our not necessarily Pacific Coast viewers, that'll be Sunday, July 24th at 11:59 Pacific, which is also Monday, July 25th at 2:59 a.m. Eastern, or Monday, July 25th at 6:59 a.m. UTC.
There you go. So that covers gamut and time zones. if you guys
Because those
have,
are always problems.
yeah, it is. So we will tweet the contest out as well. Um, it is coming up on the end of our show. We are excited about Deep Dungeon. We're excited about FanFest. We're excited about this community, and we were excited about going on Moogle Around. So I have some shout outs. Thank you to Moogle Around Radio for having us on. Thank you to Paul and Chili. You guys are fun. We learned about Nando's Chicken. So if you want to hear about that and getting a cheeky Nando's, I would suggest listening to Moogle Around. It was a fun talk with you guys, and also Miss Luna Vox. Fun talking to you as well. Shout out to my co-host Shin for putting up with me on the show every week, and thank you to all that join us live, and thank you to all that join us on YouTube and any other sites. We are still growing, and we are still building everything up. It seems that my weeks have been really strange and busy as of late, but after this week, they will all go back to normal, and so we'll be able to move things. I will be in my normal spot, and we will get things moving both on our website. Do we have on our website, do we keep a blog post up of our YouTube videos so people can go there and watch them? We will start doing that, don't worry. And anything we link, we will try to throw the links up on our website as well. So if you hear it in the show and you want to know what the hell we are talking about, we will do. It's going to be a thing. Like I said, give us 10 episodes. We will get it all worked out. And we will also make sure that our third co-host, barring work, because we don't want him to get fired, but if he can be here, we'll make sure all his equipment's working because he's having technical issues as well. So thank you for me. Shin, you got any shout-outs or anything you want to say?
Shout out to my other co-host Vladis here, who's been putting up with all of this technical issues and all of our different things and trying to organize everything in the back end. And special shout out to Greg, his dog, who's been shoved off to the other spot and waiting for us to patiently finish.
Yeah, he's been good. Thank you all. Thank you, chat. Thank you to the FC, and we will see you all next week for more Maelstrom Radio. Bye.